come with us as we demolish our potting shed. This potting shed was moved over from an adjacent property probably 50 years ago, 48 to 50 years ago. My grandfather moved it over on a truck bed from my neighbor's house. I think he bought it for like $500, and this is what we have grown in since. And that was 50 years ago. And it's weird to think, it's times like this where you realize like the impact your farm has had on the world. In over 50 years, never missing a year, we have sowed or planted millions of plants from this building. And anybody who has worked here has been in this building, growing flowers, vegetable material, and perennials. But you can just tell the inside is just so packed. Now our operation has grown to a point where this just wasn't manageable for us to work in anymore. So I decided to take it down, and we're going to be replacing it with a grain bin building, which is a unique structure that you'll see in a future video. But we did fit the building in two 30-yard dumpsters, which was pretty impressive. Because I think the dimensions of this one was like 24 by 20 maybe. But the excavator just chews everything up so well. Matt did this. Matt's been working on the farm for about 8 years. He's one of the longest employees there and has gone out in the world on his own, but came back for this project because he's a little bit more skilled than I am in the machine. And this probably would have taken me about 2 weeks. But he got it done in about 2 hours, I think. Start to finish with the building was about 2 hours. And digging out the foundation for the next one was probably another 2 hours. We did have some drama midway. The track fell off the machine, and we only had the machine for a day, so we were like rushing to get the track back on. But it all went well, and we were back in action by mid-afternoon. So this part was really sketchy because we really had to pull the building in from the sides because the greenhouse to the right and the greenhouse to the left were still in operation, and we ran the temporary wiring for the thermostats on the ground right in front of the machine, but we also had our water line running there, and those had to stay intact for this whole project to be done because the plants obviously need watering every 12 hours. But we managed to do it. There was actually no damage to the greenhouse, which was pretty impressive considering we kind of pulled it in and crushed and demolished the building. So to have no damage to the existing infrastructure was definitely a positive. But you can tell Matt was kind of just pushing it all into like the center pile. But there's only about 1.5 or 2 feet of space between that building and the greenhouse. And there's propane heaters and stuff right there. So we really just took our time doing this part of the project. But it was definitely sad to see this building go. I mean, our whole life we have been in this for as long as I can remember. When I was 5 years old, this is just where we all hung out every spring. And the whole family, from extended family to my grandfather, my grandmother, the newer generations, my kids. We literally live in this thing from March until about June. So it was definitely sad to see it go, but with every project that we do, it's always been such a positive impact to expand. So you try to drown out the emotions behind it. But considering my grandfather, this was one of the first buildings that he moved to the farm to help build it. And in the backside of where this building is, there was actually 7 greenhouses right along the wood line there. We have taken those down since then. I'm still so impressed that we fit the amount of material in these dumpsters. The building itself only took up maybe about probably about 1.5 of the 2 dumpsters that we had. So we even had a little bit of extra room, and we just took other random material that was at the farm, like pallets and other older structures that we took down over time. So we ended up filling both dumpsters fully. There's the pallets off to the side. Those were, we always have pallets available. At any time, there's probably like 200 pallets at the farm that we just don't use at all. So we decided to use the excavator to break them up and fill the dumpsters. This was the concrete breakup. It's about a 4-inch slab that he poured back in the day, so it's pretty easy to break up. But some of the pieces weren't breaking up as good as we thought, so Matt ended up just picking them up, 15 feet in the air and just dropping them straight down. But he did rip up the entire old foundation to this building, and then he dug out the new structure, which is a round building. It's called a grain bin building. So it's a grain bin like you'd see in the Midwest that stores grain, but we convert it into an actual storage building. So we doubled our square footage on this project.